Okay, welcome back. Here we go. We are going to be doing our Project 9, which is our note card holder. As you can see by the supply list, it I'm going to be featuring some of the darker Night of Navy again in the pattern. If that is not something that you prefer, feel free to mix it up in any way. That's what's nice about this set. You can make it any of those colors that we've been featuring, and this can be applied to any of them. So let's go ahead and get started on our note card holder, okay? All right, so let's go to our table here. Our ink colors for this one is going to be Night of Navy and Just Jade. And we have some of the designer series paper. And as in the instructions, this is, and I have this grid paper up here I'll measure with, it's 12 inches. This does come in 12 by 12, 12 by 9. And we are going to be doing scoring and all kinds of goodies with that. And then have a Night of Navy piece, and that one is 5 by 4.5. And I have embossed this with an embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that pattern very well on here. You can see it in person, of course, a lot better. But I used the, which one did I use? Pretty Flowers embossing folder. And before I put it in the embossing folder, though, I did score that. And the score marks on this with the longer side up, you score that. Excuse me, you're going to be scoring that at 2 and 3, okay? Yeah, so you're scoring it at 2 and 3. You can kind of see that a little bit here, and then you're putting it through your die cut machine with the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, okay? And I'm going to give this a little more of a crease. Actually, I might want to go this direction because you have to decide which side of the embossing folder piece you want showing. This is the recessed, and this is where the outline is kind of sticking up a little more. Either way, whatever you prefer. And I'm just scoring on those lines. This is going to be the closure for our note card holder, and we are going to, let's see if it's, it's the exact same on both sides. So this is, this panel here is 2 inches, yeah, and this is 2 inches as well. So it doesn't really matter which one you use to determine for your front of your box. I am going to round the corners on one of the sides. So let's bring in, this is the detailed trio punch. You do not have to do this part, but it just kind of adds a little bit of a finished edge if you have this. And so there's our flap. It goes on the front of the box, okay? And this end is going to be hidden down inside our DSP. So this one's ready to go. And we'll get this off of here. All right, let's, what do we want to do next? How about, I'll tell you the other things you're going to need. You need to use, well, you don't have to use this. I chose to use Tailor-Made Tags dies, and I made a couple of tags. There are so many other things you could use as well. You just use what you have, but I'm going to have this be kind of where the sentiment is, and it's going to be attached on, have a little flower on here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to want to stamp on here. I am just using the Inspired Thoughts stamp set. All I'm choosing to use on this is just a little hello. I just liked it that it was small. Just kept it simple. Anything you have that you want for yours, for your sentiment, will be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Night of Navy ink pad here and stamp that hello on there, on this smaller of the two tags of the Just Jade. And I'm just going to go just a little teeny hello, kind of at the top like that. Okay, that's about it for a sentiment on this one. You could put, you know, whatever you want to make it more personal, depending on what you're using it for. That's why I just keep it simple sometimes, just so that, you know, I just know that you're going to be doing whatever you want with it. All right. Now I'm going to be stamping our images on here, and I'm going to stamp a flower and a stem and leaves. So let's, this is the photopolymer, of course, that we've been using the whole time, the Sweet Symmetry. And I'm going to pull in this little pad to stamp on. And I'm going to be stamping the actual flower in the same Night of Navy here that we've been using. I want to make sure it's good, got good coverage, and then figure out where I want to put that and commit. All right, yay. As long as your stamp pad is nice and inked up, usually works pretty well. All right, that one is done. And next I'm going to bring in the Just Jade ink pad to do the stem and leaves. And even though it's the same color as the tag, it does kind of make it a little darker, and it's definitely tone on tone. You can still see it very well. Okay, I think I had taken, here we are. So I'm going to want it to go, let's see, first I'm going to do the stem. I don't know if you recall from my other videos that I had lost my stem from my set. So I'm going to be using this one that I stole out of my, which one was it? Pansy set, I believe. Pansy petals. And so that's, yours probably won't look the same. That is why. It's because it's from a different set, because I lost it. So, but I got it to work at least. It looks better than the ones I was kind of just drawing a stem. I did not like that. It wasn't looking as good as I'd like. So let's give this a little stem here. Okay. And then I'm going to take this off, clean it real quick. If I don't clean as I go, I just make a mess. I do anyways, but... Okay, now we're going to get those leaves on there. Same thing, same ink color, of course. And I'm going to try to get them to kind of just match up where those other little stems are that are on there. You know, like the little leaf stem there. Looks like I got a little smearlap on there. All right, so that is the stamping. And these are going to be layered together like this. And the ribbon is going to be on here, okay? All right, so now let's do the actual card holder. And we will bring this in at the end to get it decorated up a little bit. And, okay. All right, so as you saw in the instructions, this is already scored, and with, I don't know, maybe I didn't, okay, we'll go over that. With our 12-inch side up, you're going to be scoring at, okay, with 5 and 6. With the 12-inch side up, it's scored at 5 and 6, okay? You can't see it very well, I apologize for that. And then with this shorter side up, this is the 8 and, what is it? 9-inch, sorry. This one, oh yeah, there we go. It's with the 9-inch side up, then you score at 2 1/4 from each side, okay? So you measure in 2 1/4 inches from this side, and that's where that is, and score. And then turn it around, go in the same thing on this side, 2 1/4, and score, okay? Let's go ahead and burnish these. It starts to kind of feel like all the projects are sort of assembled the same, aren't they? There's a lot of things that you do in paper crafting, especially when you're doing like boxes and things that have structure. You kind of do a lot of the same steps. with different measurements and that kind of thing. So it makes it easier once you kind of get used to doing that. You know, it just kind of makes things a little easier and you kind of get more used to that. So now we are going like this and like this. All right. So this is going to be the, you can see how it'll go like so. And we're going to be putting in our flap. But before we do that, we're going to do a little more scoring and marking. So what we're going to do is we are going to have your 12-inch side up. I got to bring in my trimmer because we're going to score a little bit more. And what you're going to do is measure from, you're going to measure from the end. I got to remeasure my sample here to make sure I give you exactly the correct info. So we are going to make a little mark at 3 3/4 of an inch. I want to make sure, but it's actually, sorry guys, I just want to make sure. Actually, I'm going to tell you something different. Here is our paper. We're going to keep in mind 2 1/4 inches, okay? So you get a ruler and your pencil again, and we are going to go, here is this fold, right? And so this is where, tone on tone here. I'm just marking these score marks so you can see them. You wouldn't obviously do it this big, but like that. So that is where the score lines intersect, or go out to this edge, this of the long side. Can you see that okay? I did mark both of them here. Now you're going to go from this, let's see, 2 1/4 of an inch out from here. So I'm sorry, it's on a color that is not very easy for you to see. I got to bring in white, see if that helps. All right, so there we go. So I made this mark here. Now measure 2 1/4 inches from that same spot and mark, so you're having 2 1/4 inches from this score line, and here's our other score line, and we're going to mark 2 1/4 inches on this side, and we're going to repeat that over here. Score line and score line. Okay, 2 1/4 inches from this score line. Here is where that goes to. And from this score line, 2 1/4 inches here. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we are going to find where this flap is. So you see this flap. Oh, this is such a wild. I should find a way to make it easy for you to see. So here is another spot that intersects on these score lines. I'm going to mark them right here. And I'm going to do the same over here. These are where these score lines intersect, okay? And what we're going to do is we are going to draw and score from this 2 1/4 mark, 2 1/4 of an inch from here down to this intersection. So I probably would just use my scoring blade on my trimmer, but I do want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So you are going to be scoring like this, okay? And there's already, I'm going to go ahead and mark this up a little more so you can see better. So our score mark is right here, our scored line. Okay, I should have black. Or dark at least so that you can see. I'm going to be messing up my copy, but I don't care. I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about, and it's just not as clear as I would like with this busy paper. So let's go ahead, and I am going to draw where the score lines are on this already. okay, so that it's more evident what I'm talking about. I don't want you to not understand this. It's not hard, it's just I want to be clear is all. So here is the other mark that we scored. This may not be overly precise, but I just want you to be able to see it a little better. Okay, so here were your original scores, and you had gone in from both edges at 2 1/4. So this is 2 1/4, this is 2 1/4, and then we had scored this one at 5 and 6. Okay, so this is how it would look. Then with the other things I was trying to explain to you, what we're going to do then is we had marked these spots. We went 2 1/4 inches and made a dot, and did the same on this side. 2 1/4 inches was right here, and then we're going to go ahead and we will score where I'm going to draw this line. This would be a score line, and another score line, like so. Again, 2 1/4 inches out. All right, that's where you'll score on that. And 2 1/4 inches is there. I'm going to double check it. Yep. Okay. And let's go there. Okay, so this is kind of how your project looks at the moment with all the score lines. Can you see that okay? Got that a little too close, sorry. All right, so what we did then was everything's been scored on all these lines, except now these diagonal ones we want to add. So you can do that with a ruler and a stylus. If you have the paper trimmer, then we will do it with our scoring blade, which is my preferred way to do it because it's slick and that's what we need. Now, when I'm showing you this, we're kind of going blind at this. We're not sure where that line is, but when we close this track, when we close this arm down, you can see exactly where the scoring blade's going to be going. So I'm putting that marker, that score line that I already did, in this little groove right there, and that's right where the actual scoring blade goes. So I am just following that along on that line, and I'm going to repeat that for all 4 of these little diagonal areas, because again, you're kind of doing it, you can't really tell exactly if you have it in the right spot, so just kind of wiggle it around and get it so that it's right in that track, and repeat. So I hope this isn't intimidating, because it's just harder to show sometimes with a camera than in person, and I just am not always sure how clear it is. So I want it to be very obvious and make sense. Okay, again with the DSP, don't push too hard with your scoring blade, or you could cut a hole in it and rip it, and we don't want to do that. So now I am going to score on these marks that we just did, and I'm going to be going, let's see, so I want this to come in. Actually, we want to have these be mountain folds, so we're going to fold them back. So I'm going to fold this back. This is the inside, okay? This is the inside of our project. So this is getting folded back. We usually always go inward, which is a valley fold, but on these diagonal ones, fold them back in a mountain fold, okay? Crease on there. Just going to do that little portion. These are kind of our side gussets. Again, fold it back. And once more. And get a nice crisp fold. All right, there, we're getting there. All right, so what we're going to do now is think adhesive, and On the instructions I have the liquid adhesive, but I think I might demonstrate it with tear and tape. I think that might be a nice way to do it. You use what you have again. So we are going to put some tear and tape in these following spots. There's one. And I don't know if you've used tear and tape before, but very, very strong. And it's nice that you can put it on your project and it just waits around for whenever you need it. So that's very handy. And each kind of adhesive has its positives and its negatives or whatever, but this is a really slick way to do it for this project. And let me see, I think I need some now. We need to flip it over. All right, this is our actual pattern that we'll see from the front. And you can't see my lines again, but basically what I'm going to be doing is on this straight part here, I am going to put some tear and tape on the opposite side, but in this part, when this goes out here in the center, we're going to put some tear and tape here, 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 and here, just on the outside edge of the center gusset. And it's very hard to see. I can't even see it. Okay, so I'm going here. My score line is right there. Okay. And opposite side. Let's find where that is. Okay, it's right there. I can hardly even see it, and I'm right here. Okay. Oops, I gotta make sure I'm getting in the right spot. Doesn't need to be a lot, just enough to keep everything in place. So now it's this side of our score. All right, there. And that's why we tear and tape, because it tears and goes right where you want it. All right, then the other one goes here. All right, so that is the adhesive you need. What we're going to do is figure out, so this shorter side is going to be the part that is going to have the other flap that is in the Night of Navy that we made. This is going to be, I believe it goes, yeah. This shorter portion is going to actually be the front. And we're going to put this back in here, like that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. Tear and tape would be great for this also. Where I'm putting it on the opposite, so there's a wide, narrow, and wide. Don't put it on this one that has that's going to be the front where we rounded the corners. Just put it on that other opposite end. We're going to do that, okay? Okay. So with tear and tape, take your pick tools, very cool and awesome and helpful. And we're going to take the liner off, and then we are going to adhere this down, and it's going to go this away, okay? I want to make sure I'm getting it where I want it, so I just kind of want to line this edge up with the, right in that center area. I'm just kind of looking right here. Hope you can see that okay. And I'll get it in place, try to make it straight, and press that down. You just want to make sure you're not putting adhesive right in here on this side. So so here we go, right? So the next part is going to be to do these 4 pieces there. So we'll take the liners off and fold that in. Just fold it over, press it down real nice, and repeat. Come on, tear and tape, okay? And press this one down. Okay. getting there, believe it or not. Now, this is the kind of the cool part of this one, how it just kind of does its own thing. Remember these gusseted areas, we did not put any adhesive here, so we want to grab these and kind of fold them out and up. And it's going to make the side of the box. It just kind of folds into place. What? How nice is that? And so then we're going to just adhere those down. So then this will be your note card holder. And it has, you know, that much thickness. I believe it's about an inch. Yeah, so it holds at least 4 cards and envelopes. It just depends on the thickness of everything. But that's what I usually do is 4. You might be able to do more than that as well. So let's go ahead and get this adhered. Oops. And it's just fun once this kind of just sort of goes together on its own. It's kind of cool. It's nice and sturdy. I love that it has those side boxy, the box sides on it. Just make sure when you are doing this that it folds out, and then just maybe do one side at a time. And you just kind of want to focus on getting it nice and straight and square. One side and another side. I'm just not really pressing it yet, just kind of getting it into place. Alright, then once it's about where I want it, I'm going to try to give it a better press. Go on the inside with the bone folder and kind of press that tear and tape down well. Okay, so I don't know if you can kind of see the mechanism or the folding flaps and everything in here. Super cool. Okay, now you just use whatever type of a closure that you prefer on your, or whatever you have. I tried a magnetic, and that was really nice, but the magnetic one I have is too big, so I need to get the smaller ones. And so a Velcro closure would be a good idea. If you have any kind of a magnetic closure, that would work also. And what you would do is, I just don't have one. I'm sorry that I can't demonstrate that for you. You would put one side here and one side here, and just get it to where you want it. You could, there's also some that are like the envelope where you tie the twine around it, that kind of thing. That would look nice. Just kind of find what you have to work with. Now we're going to just decorate it up a little bit. And you can see how that looks there from the side. So let's put, we need ribbon, we need our tags, and so one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bow, kind of try to make it little. This is a little bit wider ribbon. This is, ooh, that didn't work. And it does kind of tear apart sometimes if you get too rough with it. So I just kind of have to be gentle. But it's so pretty. It's that beautiful color of, let's see, what's it called? Oh my goodness, I have Flirty Flamingo Gold Metallic on there, and that's not what it is. I used the Just Jade and Gold. It's in the annual catalog, the 2021-2022 annual catalog. I thought that looked really pretty. You could use the other one that we've been using for other projects also. Whichever you have or prefer. This one's a little bigger and a little kind of softer type of ribbon. It's kind of like fabric almost. Really a soft weave. Try to show you, it does have the gold metallic in it. Okay, pretty. All right, so I am going to trim that off, and I'm going to just do the cheater method of adhering this on. So I'm going to set that aside. And so what I'm going to do then is I want to just wrap this around and make kind of a decoration on the back with the bow, okay? And it's just decoration. So we can put it, we'll adhere it on the inside wherever you want it to go. I'm going to use glue dots again because I really like them with ribbon. So hopefully it'll work well. You may even want to do some kind of, oh, you could use it like a Scotch tape if you really are afraid it's going to come off. It would have maybe been good to just tuck it in there, but I don't know if that would cause kind of a little bit of a lump. So we'll try to avoid that. But whatever you have, just make sure it's strong because you don't want this pulling off, right? All right, glue dots, where are you? I'm going to do a couple of them. All right, and there's another one. Okay, so we have a couple of glue dots on there. And I am just going to put it kind of in the center down a little bit where I just don't want it to be overly obvious, kind of that raw edge. So I'm going to wrap it around here, and I am going to trim that off. And about right here. And glue dots again. I gotta take some of this liner off. Alrighty. Okay. We'll do two. There's one and two. Just want to make sure I have it smooth and not turned over or anything. And put it into place. Right like that. So you can see it's not very obvious. It's not beautiful as far as I wouldn't want that on the outside. But you're going to have cards in here anyway, so that's not really going to show very much. You could always tidy it up if you'd rather. You can just go ahead, wrap it around and tie a regular bow here. But I just kind of wanted to show you this way of doing it in case you're not too keen on doing your bows that way. So we have this that I'm just going to put on here and trim it down. I just find it easier to do it this way myself. And then I don't have to worry about having it lay a certain way or whatever. I just make it and then I know how it looks and where I want it. Oops, that is not trimmed, angled quite enough for me. And we'll trim this one. So it's just kind of got that cute little bow on the back. No function, just decoration. And then we just want to put on our tag. You can decide where you want the tag on there. If you want it here, if you want it here. I think in my example, I had used it to cover up my closure. So I had a magnet here. So I just adhered this on with a ribbon and that kind of thing. And it really hid the closure, which was nice. You usually want kind of something in that area. So what I'm going to do is take a little more of that same ribbon and put it in these little holes that the die automatically punches on there, or in there, and it's got the nice stitching around the outside edge. This die set has two different shapes of tags that it cuts out, and I don't know where to put it. Oh gosh, I just had it right here. Anyways, well, it cuts out two different patterns of tags. I bet it's right here. Yes. So one is kind of just the basic square, and the oval is there's an oval here, And then there's some oval tags that it punches out, and it's more the square. And then the one I used is has a little bit more of a decorative scallop, I guess, kind of on it. The hole is round, and then there's some round kind of button looking or round tabs that it does cut out. And those are kind of cute on there also. If you want to do that, you can. Not necessary though. So let's push this through the holes here. Okay, I can see where I'm going. Okay, both layers. There we are, just something to hold them together, and then you can tie it in a bow. You can one thing I could show you is if you have any of the twine or a different type of ribbon that's smaller. Let me see here. I could even, let's just see how this looks. I could tie it with with this same one that we've been using for a bunch of the other projects. We'll see if we kind of double up with that, how it looks. And then you would want to put this on your project in any number of ways. But let's go ahead and get this first. And I'm going to have that go behind. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little knot in there. You could do a bow here if you'd want. Suppose I could see how that looks, but since I already have a bow on the other side, on the back, I'll probably just go with a regular old knot here. And then these tails or whatever, we'll just go ahead and kind of join in on these others at the top, okay? And we'll kind of get them all stretched, going the same direction. Just kind of tug, and then you have a little grouping here of ribbon. Okay. And this could get scooted down if you like that better. I think I do. And, all right. So now this gets adhered onto the front of your project. It's kind of a whole lot. I might trim that down. It's going to go on there like so. This is something you do want also for, you want a lot of strength on it. So tear and tape would be good. Again, depending on your closure, whatever you're going to be using, that might make a difference. Just going to see where, here's my tear and tape. Going to put a couple of strips up here towards the top, and then I'm going to adhere that onto the flap. Okay. Good press. Little haircut maybe. Okay. There we are. Here is what we're going to be putting our note cards that we're going to make. We're going to be putting them in here. And so the next video we're going to do is going to go over the 4 different note cards that I came up with the Sweet Symmetry set that we can, I have 4 different ones. I'll try to, I'm going to attempt to do them in one video and try to go a little quicker because they're not overly complicated, but they're kind of just fun, and this way I can kind of show you what I had come up with, and you can, of course, you know, make it your own. And we'll just try to do a kind of a quicker tutorial on the note cards that go in it, because they're, like I said, they're nothing real fancy, but it is kind of fun just to see some ideas, and then you can use it the way it is or change it if you'd like. All right, I had a little, oh my goodness, this one's on the run. Oh, come on. I tell ya, this guy is not being nice. I'll kind of go here. All right, so I have 3 opal rounds that I've put on there. I kind of decorated a little bit, and we can Stella it up, and you're good to go. I do need my Velcro closure, and then that'll really make a difference on how it looks. Okay, because that'll kind of lift it up a little bit, make it more square.